This is a great question. Having to grow up fast, especially our girls, is normal. Usually our girls have to take on that matriarchal position to duplicate the matriarch. I didn't realize what I was doing to my kids until recently. So no, I did not feel guilty, but now I do. I know when my 17-year-old comes to me and says she doesn't like to be touched unless it's during, and I'm the same way. And I realize it's because I never touched her. I never hugged her. I never held her hand. I never sat next to her and just existed next to her. I didn't see the value in it. But now I see that my 17-year-old is struggling with physical touch. And I know it's a part my fault. And I don't even know if that's something I could walk back, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the trauma that we experience from our parents, we could walk it back later. But how can something you develop through repeated action through your childhood that you did not receive through your childhood, how can you walk that back? I struggle with physical touch to this day. I'm doing better, but I didn't receive something as a child in my formidable years that caused me to have a reaction to something so natural as touch. And I see that repeating with my kids, and I do feel guilty about that. Of my 4 kids, Bailey is my prototype. She ain't mini-me for no reason. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into that child, and some abuse. Verbal, and she says, I agree, some physical. I wasn't beating her and burning her with irons like Penny, but I was rough, and I've apologized for that. I remember one time we were visiting somewhere in California. It was a lookout point for the soldiers where you could look over the ocean to see if ships were coming in, and Bailey jumped down into one of the lookout points. And she was in the 4th grade when we lived in California, so however old you're supposed to be in the 4th grade, that's how old she was. And she couldn't get out the hole. And I stood there and I was like, I'm not going to help you get out the hole. You need to figure out how to get out the hole yourself. You created a problem. You need to figure out how to solve that problem. And in itself, perfect. Learning opportunity, teaching your child perseverance, teaching them to be a problem solver. On the surface, I was doing a good thing. But the energy around it, she was scared that she was stuck. She was panicking a little bit, and I did nothing to support her through that because I did not understand emotional support. I just knew I was teaching her, it doesn't matter how afraid you are. You fight through that fear and you get up out of that hole, which she did. And then I tried to have that high five, aren't you proud of yourself moment. She probably looking at me like, bitch, get away from me. See, we got to pay attention to the energy that we're putting on these moments. And because I didn't pay attention to that energy that I was putting on these moments, I really messed my kid up. And for that, I feel guilty.